Hi everybody, well today you join me in my garage. I'm just about to wax my chains, which is something I do in the summer. I find wax gives me a really smooth drivetrain. It wouldn't stand up to winter conditions, but certainly in the summer it's perfect. It does mean cleaning the chain off, getting all the grease off that's on there, getting it thoroughly clean, and then you soak it in a bath of hot wax and paraffin. I'm not going to tell you all about doing that because there's a really good video on it, and I'll put you a link below. I decided I would first of all check the chains just to make sure that I'm not going to wax a chain that's nearly worn out. And this is what I found. So I've got my trusty chain gauge. As you probably know, you've got a 0.75% measurement and you've got a 1%. So first thing we'll do is see if we are 75% worn. So we pop chain gauge on, and as you can see, when I can get it located, it drops straight through. So we're certainly 75% worn. So we'll turn it over to the 1% side, drop it on the chain, drop it through, and as you can see, it goes all the way through. So that chain is totally worn and needs replacing. If not, we're going to start having cassette problems, and that's going to be much more expensive than a new chain. So we'll now have a look at the Ribble, and I think we'll just go straight for the 1%. So we're popping the gauge on, locating it, and as you can see, that one's gone straight through as well. So that chain is another one that's totally ready for the scrap heap. So I best go and order 2 more chains. Fortunately, my mountain bike chain isn't that old, so I'm hoping that that's going to be okay. So we'll check. Drop the chain on the 70.75 mark. And as you can see, plenty of wear left on that chain. Now that's just as well, because I've planned to go out tomorrow and I can now take the mountain bike at least, and we'll do some tracks and trails, which will make a nice change. Come and join me on the tracks and trails if you like. Well, we've arrived at Cafe Alley for our coffee stop and a bit of a rest. It's been great. We've been mainly on tracks all the way. Wendy today has got the Ribble hybrid with her. The problem she had with the Ribble initially is that she got the fully loaded model, which came with an all-in-one handlebar, and the problem was it was a bit too stretched out for her husband. Now Ribble were great. They took the bike back and they changed it for a standard handlebar, so they could flip the stem, and it's made it much more comfortable. This model has got the 11-speed SRAM group set, which is perfect for off-road. And this one has the 735 Schwalbe marathon tyres. So a good, fairly puncture-proof tyre. The fully loaded model also came with this rear rack, so There's nothing else to buy if you want to use this for touring. It's got the same e-bike motion X35 rear wheel hub drive, so this is an e-assist bike. Now it's actually light enough that you can pedal this without having to use the power. Now Wendy's a pretty strong cyclist, so she can pedal this Ribble without power, and in fact she's got a fairly long distance on it. So Wendy, how far have you been?
I did a 100-kilometre ride with Grant the other day, so I started off without the power, but the minute I started to hit the winds I just put the power on, and I don't think I really switched it off again then. But it was just reassuring in the background.
Yeah.
And what I found, that by the time I got home my legs were half as tired as they normally are, and I'd really enjoyed the ride, so I was very impressed by it.
Did you feel that you'd had a good workout?
Definitely, yes. 100 kilometres is still a pretty long way, and yeah, I felt good at the end of it. Probably not as tired as I normally would, but that's probably not a bad thing either.
And how much battery charge did you have left?
Well, with the Ribble and the scheme, it goes white, green, red, and it had just gone on to the green by the time I got home, right, which means you'd had got between 50 and 75 still left.
Yeah,
so I'd still a lot to go.
It goes green, amber and red, so you had 75% of the battery left.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Tremendous.
And you know, towards the end I just put it on full power and went up off on the hill, which is quite a steep hill by me, just for the fun of it.
Excellent.
And yeah, you just whizzed up it and you'd still got plenty left. So and that was at the end of the ride, so yeah, really good.
And the Ribble Hybrid weighs about the same as my CGR, so it's certainly a light bike. Not only that, it's a good looking bike. It certainly has very nice lines, nice paint job. Certainly the Hybrid is well worth a look. Well, we just got back. That was 30 miles, but I have to say, on the mountain bike and the wind on some of those trails, it was fairly hard going, so it feels like 30 miles, but it was good. Nice to do the off-road for a change. Wendy has done 48 kilometres and she's still got 83% of the battery remaining. And we've done a few hills on this ride, so she did go on to the middle setting for a while, so that's an incredible battery performance. So have you enjoyed the ride, Wendy?
Been brilliant, really good, and it was good to have the assist into that wind.
Yeah, I would agree. I wish I had my assist.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
So there we are, that's the end of our e-bike ride, well, part e-bike and part me bike to ride today. So tomorrow hopefully I should get the chains and we'll fit those to the other bikes. I'm going to give SRAM chains a try this time. I've not tried them before. These are just a standard SRAM 11-speed chain, so we'll see how we get on. The chain does come complete with a link, so we're all good to go. One of the things I've been looking at is whether to remove the manufacturer's lubricant. Now, previously I was always led to believe that this was purely a lubricant that was applied to protect the chain during storage and shipping and so on, but I've been reading particularly SRAM's advice that this is in fact a high quality lubricant and should be left on. So I'm going to abandon the idea of waxing this chain. I'm going to prepare it before I put it on, I'm just going to give it a wipe over on the outside, a light wipe over with isopropyl alcohol. That will mean that the lubricant will stay inside the chain where it needs to be, but I'll attract less dirt and grime on the parts where we don't need any lubricant. While I've got the chain off, I've taken the opportunity to give the cassette and the crank a good clean. If you want the optimum guide for cleaning a cassette, I would suggest looking at Paul Green's video. He's the master of cassette cleaning, and I'll put a link below to his video. I've located my quick link, and I do find one of these wire links makes a huge difference. If you haven't got one with your chain removal tool, then you can make one out of an old spoke or a suitable piece of metal. What it means is that once you've undone the quick link, the chain isn't going to spring apart. Now, I'm not planning to make this chain fitting tutorial, but one thing I will mention, because I've had problems, is when you fit the chain through the rear derailleur, make sure you're above this tab. If you're not, you're going to end up with a rubbing chain, and you're going to have to take it back off. I'm now ready to refit the chain, so we're going to pop the quick link back on. I do find it much easier to take the tension off by using that piece of wire. Quick links are directional, so you have to make sure that the arrow is pointing in the way the chain is going to run, which is that way. And popping the quick link on there, that side. Sometimes a bit fiddly. Now I'm pulling that as tight as I can, take the tension off the chain, but you'll see you won't be able to pull it in by hand. So all we need to do is turn the quick link so it's on top, which is there. We'll drop the bike off the stand, put the brakes on, and then just press on the pedal and it'll click into place. Well, that's the Ribble chain done. Now I just need to do the tri-band, but I'm going to leave that for another day. I did promise you in the video chains, trails and automobiles. Well, we've had the trails, we've had the chains, but what about the automobiles? Well, the reason that I've mentioned automobiles is that I've noticed the dramatic rise in traffic since we've started to ease out of our lockdown, and I'm quite alarmed, quite frankly, at the absolutely poor standard of driving. I think people have forgotten how to drive. I mean, they were bad enough before, but they seem worse now. There's a stretch of the A607 that I really need to use to get out to the east and north of Grantham. And every time I use that road, I'll guarantee that I have a close pass, and sometimes two. I have started to upload my videos to Operation Snap, which is a Lincolnshire Police initiative. At this point, I was going to show you some stills of the close passes that I've had in the past few weeks. However, I've just had a phone call from somebody to tell me that 3 of those motorists out of the 4 I reported are actually being served notices of prosecution. So it's not going to be a good idea for me to show those photographs. I don't want to jeopardise any case the police have. I wasn't intending to show the index numbers of the cars concerned, but I think it's best if I don't show anything. I've had a really good conversation with this chap, and we've discussed how to make this stretch of road safer, and generally all roads in Lincolnshire safer. And I have to say I feel very encouraged after speaking with him, and hopefully we can make this some sort of long-term arrangement where we can discuss continuing improvements. So I shall report back on that in due course. I also carried out a survey on the local Nextdoor website regarding whether it's better for cyclists to ride single file or two abreast. And The results were quite surprising. So what I'm going to do in the next video is have a bit of a breakdown of that, try and get some discussion going on it, but also I'll try and give you the results, if I've had any, of my various campaigning efforts. So until then, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done, because it will help me. I'm getting close to the 1,000 subscribers now, so I really would appreciate your help. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.